Hi, everybody. Let's talk eclipses. And today I am really excited. We're going to talk about the Eclipse Simulator, one of the great things that's on eclipse2024.org. I am Dan McGlon. I run eclipse2024.org, and the simulator is probably one of the best tools out there for looking at and seeing what the eclipse is going to look like for you, no matter where you're located. The simulator is featured in both of the major astronomical publications that are popular, and it's also been featured on NASA's website, both on solarsystem.nasa.gov and in science.nasa.gov for the October annular eclipse. I was very, very proud about that, but a lot of work, effort, time, planning, back and forth with teams of developers. A lot of work has gone into it, and I am really happy that it's getting a lot of traction all over the country, all over North America, and I cannot wait to show it to you today. So let's get started. The Eclipse Simulator from eclipse2024.org. Okay, so how do you get to the simulator? Well, a couple of ways. On every one of our pages on our site, we have a menu here, and the Eclipse Simulator is over here on the left. You can also reach it by one of these links, simulator.eclipse2024.org, or you can reach it with eclipsesimulator.solar. And the reason we have this domain is because we want this to live on past the 2024 eclipse and grow and develop and turn into something that you can use for future eclipses. Okay, so here we are on the main simulator page. You can see all of our wonderful medallions, and you can see we had the annular eclipse in place. We had the annular total eclipse. I can't wait to show you that after we've seen a couple of other things. And then we have the main event here for North America, the total eclipse that's going to happen on April 8th. The entire simulator, everything that you see, all the instructions, all the display, everything is available in all three languages. You can zoom in. You can zoom in as far as you want. You can go down to your backyard if you like. And when you click on the map, it's going to grab, Norwalk happens to be right on the center line. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a place. It has gotten the latitude, longitude, and altitude, and it has done a lot of math, done a lot of database lookups, and here we are, ready to go. You have four main controls: the time slider, which is the big one at the bottom, the fine time slider, which moves time very slowly, and that's not usable most of the time, but during second and third contact, you'll want to use that. You have the animation or the clock that you can run, and you can run it in real time, or you can run it very fast or very slow. I like to say that people can run it in real time and see how things work actually as you're watching them in real life. And then I clicked off of it, but you have the zoom feature. Now, your mouse wheel also works, and pinching also works on your mobile, but those are the four main controls. Everything else is a checkbox so that you can see a couple of things. We'll see that one in a second. The outlines, you usually can't see the moon, but there it is in the sky, and you can watch the outline as it covers up. You can express to people how important it is to use your eclipse glasses, your eye protection, whenever you see this red banner. You can change the scene. You can put yourself in the ocean or the desert or a field or a city. This one is fine. If you want to go and be able to see all the way to the horizon, this plain green background is a very, very, very good one to use. But we'll go ahead and go back. We'll go to this one. This is fine. And you've got complete instructions. Every single feature has instructions that you can read and learn about eclipses, and you can also learn about the simulator. Things are pretty intuitive. Here's the latitude, longitude that I clicked on. Here you can go select a different location. You can go to a different eclipse, or you can just go back to eclipse2024.org. You'll see the time down here, and you can express it in military time, or you can express it in normal regular time. You see magnitude obscuration. You can change the time zone so that you can see what the eclipse is like where it's going on for this location in Ohio, for example, but you can do it in your time zone if you happen to live in Los Angeles or something. Zooming in, zooming out, you can zoom all the way in, and this will help you see a lot of the effects that are going on. We have limb darkening in place, as you can tell. So it's very common for me to want to show the entire eclipse sequence as we move the time slider and time moves forward quickly, and it starts getting a little dark, but you still need your eclipse glasses. No matter if there's even a slight little bit of the crescent sun, you still need it. As we move forward in time and things start getting really, really weird, their shadows are very distinct on the ground. The air takes on kind of an electric buzz to it, and it starts just getting really dark. The last 30 minutes are really cool. The last 5 minutes are really cool. The last 30 seconds are really, really cool. Everything's cool about a total eclipse. And here comes the moon's shadow as it is scraping across the earth at 1,500 miles an hour, whatever it's doing, and it's getting close and it's getting really, really dark. Venus has come out. There's Jupiter. In fact, you can see where all the stars and planets are. You won't see them all during totality, but you'll see Venus most likely a little bit before totality. But you can see it is going to get really dark. And now I'm going to switch to the fine time slider, and that moves me by tenths of a second. So I can see that shadow coming out of the southwestern sky, the stars and planets coming out, the diamond ring, the corona. People are going nuts. You know, the birds have completely thought it's nighttime, the insects. Now the corona just pops out, and we see now the orange glow on the horizon, which if I go back to that green generic background that I showed you, we can see the whole thing. There's probably one little bitty bit of the sun shining through. We'll see that in a second, but we still need our eye protection until the eclipse is completely total, 100% obscuration, and we have the orange glow on the horizon. That is caused by, remember the map, there are people away from us who are not in totality, but we're looking and we're seeing that sunlight that's coming to us underneath the shadow, basically. And the same thing that happens at sunset happens during an eclipse. All the blue scatters out, we have the orange and the yellows left, and we get a beautiful 360-degree sunset effect. That continues on until it's over. Oh, don't go away. When's the next one? And there we go, and it's over. Couple things we can see. The study of the shadow turns off the dark, and you can see that shadow of the moon coming at you and overtaking you and then moving off to points east and northeastward. But let's look at some close-up effects. As we get very, very, very thin crescent and we run this thing even almost in real time, we see we've got beads of sunlight. The mountains on the edge of the moon are blocking the sun, and the valleys are allowing the sunlight through. And that is accurate. Even though the moon wobbles, and that wobble is slightly different for each person on Earth, each viewing location, we know where all the mountains and valleys on the moon are. And there is a good set of lunar limb profiles that we can use. And this is used to ray trace to the edge of the moon's disk, and we can draw those, and they're accurate. And that's probably one reason NASA likes the simulator, because I'm using the NASA data. This red is called the chromosphere. That's the outer layer of the sun. And if you want to see kind of what that looks like in real life, we can run the clock in real time, and you can see it breaks up the beads. They fade away. The diamond ring is there. It shows, it fades, and then the corona is there in all its beauty. We do not know what the corona is going to look like in advance, though there will be predictions, and my corona artist will drop in an accurate estimate of what it's going to look like. It will not be a long corona like this. It will not be a mixed corona like that. Those are for other eclipses, but we have a solar maximum corona going to happen in 2024. This will be very round, and remains to be seen what it will look like. We may have prominences. Right now, we don't have one on this. The simulator randomizes prominences. Sometimes there aren't any. There's a tiny one right there. Sometimes there are, but you can definitely see the moon moving against that prominence until the eclipse is over. So this is the simulator. I want to show you one other thing that is very cool, and it is from the annular total that happened. And an annular total eclipse is where it's annular here and total here. The shape of the shadow, the geometry of the situation is just exactly right, so that there was this position out in the middle of the Indian Ocean that the sun has not risen yet. The stars are all out there, and they are all, of course, southern stars, Eridanus, and the constellations we can't see in the northern hemisphere. Let's see what happens. The sun has not risen yet, but it is going to rise, and as it rises, it is going to be eclipsed. But what happens here is the shadow is so small, because we are right at that vertex of that cone, that we are going to see beads all the way around the edge of the sun. And I think that is a very cool depiction of Bailey's beads. Now, the prominences and the corona, those are accurate because we already know what that eclipse looks like. But I thought that was interesting to show you, and do your thing with it. And if you have any questions, feel free to give me an email. If you're not in the path, well, the shadow will miss you, and you will have a neat, interesting partial eclipse, but it will not be total. In fact, if you're even just a bit outside the path, what you'll see is those Bailey's beads kind of dance around the edge, because you're just right on the edge. So if I move the time slider like this, you'll see those beads go away, but then they start right up again, and they just kind of move right around, and it's really a great, interesting edge effect. Now, you can see you have to use eclipse glasses for the whole thing, but it's still kind of an amazing situation. The simulator will allow you to see what's going on. It will allow you to show that your community is in the path of totality, and that the difference literally is night and day between a deep partial and totality. I really do appreciate the time that you've spent. I cannot wait to hear of some of your great results using the simulator to help plan your Eclipse Day activities, or to teach your students, or to teach yourself. Dan McGlon again, Eclipse2024.org. We wish you clear skies on Eclipse Day and every day.